Good day. Attorney Jeff Jarrett here out of Kirkland, Washington. Today we're talking about Street Law 101. And there's a siren right there. Although I'm not sure if that's a police siren, but we're going to talk about today, what we're going to talk about is Street Law 101. The only 7 things you have to do in Washington State when pulled over by the police when you're driving. This is the law of only things you have to do when pulled over by an officer. You must show your driver's license, show your registration, and show proof of insurance. Name, rank, and serial number, essentially. And that should all be in your driver's license in your wallet, registration, and insurance in your glove compartment. You must do those 3 things. The next 4 things are only required to do if you're asked. So it starts out, the only 3 things you have to do, name, rank, and serial number when you're driving. Name, rank, and serial number, driver's license, registration, proof of insurance. Number 4, if the officer wants, the officer can look at your VIN number in your car, and that should be on the shield. You have to allow him to do that or clear it out so he can see that if he asks. And he can inspect your car for mechanical and safety issues. If he thinks he saw something in the car was unsafe, he could ask to look under or something, and he has the right to do that. But it has to be for mechanics and safety reasons. You do have to get out of your car if the officer asks you to. And you just get out of the car and you stand just like this with your shoulders, with your hands by your side. So you have to do that if asked. That's number 6. Number 7, if arrested, you need to lawfully go along with the arrest. And they can search you according to arrest. If your arrest is wrongful, your remedy is not to fight it there, but to see the judge in the morning or in the next 48 hours, which you have a right to arraignment in the next 48 hours. Better to go along peacefully. If you think you're being wrongfully arrested, I think every lawyer will tell you this, go along peacefully and get your day in court to fight the arrest. You are not required. So those are the 7 things. The name, rank, and serial number, and the other, stand by your car, mechanics and safety check, and peacefully go along with the rest, if that happens. But you are not required. You do not have to tell the officer where you're going, and you do not have to blow roadside on the little portable breath test by the side of the road. You do have to blow back at the precinct, or you lose your license. That's implied consent. But you do not have to blow to the little handheld device on the roadside. You do not have to consent to any search of your glove compartment or your trunk. Now, if you are arrested, the officer can search your passenger compartment, wingspan, but you don't have to consent to any search. You don't have to tell the officer where you're going and where you've been. You don't have to admit to drinking or not drinking or how much. You don't have to admit that, and you don't have to submit to any roadside sobriety test. You don't have to touch your nose and you don't have to consent. You don't have to do any of that. You do have to blow back at the precinct. If you do the above 5 things, if you give him evidence by blowing into the portable, or you consent to a search, or you tell him where you're going, or you say, I've only had a couple beers, or you do the touch the toe and you do the dance on the side of the road, you're spoon-feeding officers evidence against you. And I know it's unusual, this idea that there's only 7 things you have to do. It's keeping silent, and a lot of people think they can charm their way out of things. And we're taught it's polite. When someone asks me a question, especially if they're authority, I will answer them. But with the case of police officers, you shouldn't. But people naturally think they can talk or charm their way out of it. But it's best to clam up, lawyer up as they speak. So again, that's the 7 things you have to do if pulled over by the police. And the 4 or 5 things you don't have to do. That's Street Law 101. And again, this applies only to Washington State. Again, Jeff Jarrett here signing off. Street Law 101. Cheers.